So in that or for all which is observe, you are going to observe every project that you want to work with. Follow up with what they're building. Like I said, I don't work with NFTs. I don't work with meme coins. I only do Web3 and AI projects. And I'm going to give my reasons why I don't work with this other project. First things first, Web3 and AI projects, they build for long term. Let me just put it that way. They are long term projects. Although their growth might be very slow, but yes, they are building something real in the Web3 space. And I don't want a case, or I don't want a, how will I put it? A problem, or whereby I wake up one morning and I see that okay, this project I'm actually working for robbed, or this coin or this token we're actually trying to shield robbed. No, I wouldn't want such. So if you have BP, you have blood pressure, high blood pressure, or you do not have the heart to actually do all these things, or wake up one morning and say that oh you've been robbed and all of that, please avoid meme coins. Avoid meme coins. Avoid meme coins. So work with Web3 and AI projects. You can also work with other good projects. Other good projects. Other good projects. So that is for observe. That is your observing phase. You observe the project, know what they are building, and yes, of course, there's no how you would start leading them, which is the L, and you would not get a job. I'm coming. All right. So the third on my list, or the third thing I'm going to talk about right now, is lead. L in the golden method, which is lead. Now that is the phase where I expect you to actually lead the project. Now, the Bible says, I am that I am. So even if you are not a community manager yet, I want you to start leading before you are being hired, before you even pitch. Do you understand that if you want to be a moderator for the project, I expect you to start acting like a moderator. Start acting as a moderator before you even pitch. That way, when you are going into their team, you're not going to sound desperate. You're not going to sound salesy. But I think this whole aspect, some people do it, but they do it wrongly. Now, when you are already acting as a moderator, you're acting as a community manager before you need to go and pitch to the dev. But you go and pitch to the dev, but you do not talk about your payment structure, although we are coming there. We are coming there. So it's two things that are different. Let me put it that way. Do you understand? You pitching to them and you pitching to them without talking about your payment structure is one thing that I do not support. Now, let's continue. All right. So in this process, that is where you're going to lead. You lead like a rock star. You lead like who knows what he or she is doing. For example, I want to lead, I want to be a marketer for the project. I want to be part of the marketing team. What you need to do is just for you to go through what they are building, understand what they are building, and ask questions. I want you to also ask questions that would also trigger them while you're trying to also understand what the project is building. Now, if I want to pitch as a marketer, I should be asking, okay, what are the problems that you all are facing to actually put your product out there? What marketing strategies are you actually using to actually bring in your target audience? How do you plan to reach your target audience, or how do you plan to create awareness about your product? Do you understand? Ask questions like this. These are questions that will trigger them. Do you understand? These are questions that shows that okay, yes, you know what you are doing. If you want to be as a moderator, ask that okay, why is your group chat not active? Not like immediately you hop on the group, you will ask immediately. No. Let's say I hop on the group today, or I join the group today. Tomorrow, if I see that okay, the group is not really active, I would come on the group and ask, okay, is there any reason why this project or this group is not active? Is there any reason why? Whatever they say, then I know what to follow up from there. Do you understand? I'm not saying pitch immediately also. Ask question. Okay, if they say oh it's still a baby project and all of that, you can say okay, how about we run a contest, or how about we host our first AMA? Have you tried hosting an AMA? Do you understand? We need this group chat to be active. What plans do you have to actually make this group chat active? Ask the devs, ask the people you meet there, get answers from them, questions that will trigger them. I'm not now saying trigger them that you now have to criticize, or downplay what they are doing, but ask questions that is going to trigger them. Okay, you want to pitch yourself as a community manager, you ask questions like, all right, I see you have a good community, but how do you plan to build a loyal community? How do you plan to actually onboard your community into this? Or do you understand that this is a question, these are questions that you should be asking? Do you understand? On the group chat, not in anybody's DM yet. Ask them on the group chat. Make sure you get a response from them. That's what I do. Do you understand that? Now, you do it the first. If you come the first day and you ask question, I'm not saying immediately you join. Okay, let me give you a roadmap. Please write this down. Write this down. If you join a group chat today, don't ask questions. Although they will welcome you, but don't ask any question today. I want you to come back the next day, then ask your question. Any question you ask, don't ask the third day. No, come back the fourth day to actually ask your question again or follow up. Come back the fourth day to actually ask another question or to follow up. I can ask one question today and go, then next tomorrow I come back again with another question. Do you understand that? Now, whenever I'm using this golden method, it takes 7 to 10 days to actually get a job. It takes 7 to 10 days to actually get a job. That is if you decide to actually do what? Follow all these things that I am saying, implement it step by step. Do not rush the process. It's better for you to actually take your time to actually make something work out, or take your time to actually seal a deal, than for you to actually spoil it in 24 hours or in 48 hours due to your desperation or due to your act of being salesy. Yeah. Do you understand? And pushy. So please, this will actually take 1 week. So I do not expect you to use all these rules in 1 day, in 24 hours, in 48 hours. Please do not do that. I do not support it. Because if you do all this in 48 hours, it shows that you are being salesy, you are being desperate, and you are not going to get the results that you want. So give yourself a 1 week gap, a 7 days gap. Like I said, I've told you the first day is for you to do what? Search for all the projects you want to pitch to, at least 500 to 1,000 projects. Have them down. The second day, what do? You do what? You observe the projects. That's where you also join their groups. Then the third day, you can now ask questions. That's where you start asking questions that are going to trigger them. Do you understand that? Then the third day, you can just come on the group and just be active with them. I'm not asking you to ask any question, but I want a case whereby the dev, not just the dev, and everybody on the group already have an idea on who you are. I'm not saying you should tell them about yourself, but they know that you are part of this group. Do you understand that? It's a different thing if people know that, okay, yes, you are part of this group, then you now go and pitch to them indirectly, than you joining a group now and the next minute you are in the dev's DM pitching. Please do not do that. It shows that you are desperate. It shows that most of them used to tag people like that as scams. Do you understand that? So I want a case whereby when you are reaching out to these devs, you are not reaching out to them as a cold audience, or you are not, this is not a cold DM, it is a warm DM now. Because a cold DM means you don't know the person before, the person does not know you before, and you are trying to like convince the person to actually buy your product or actually hire you. That is cold DMs, and it's just 10% that literally works out. Like this whole cold DM, just 10% that works out. 10%. Do you understand that? And that 10% falls in the aspect of, oh, you don't have to be too salesy, you don't have to be too pushy and too desperate. Do you understand that? But if you are using this warm DM, you have 60% chance of getting a job. Apart from getting a job, you have the 60% chance, or you have a 60% chance of getting a reply from who you are chatting up, because this is not a cold DM now. A cold DM, you have 2% chance, a 2% chance of getting a reply from a dev or from a founder. Do you understand that? If the person does not know you before, they might not respond to you. They might tag you as a scammer or something. But if they already know you, you have 60 to 70% chance of getting a response from them. And that is where the whole work is. Let me put it that way. Because trust me, if you can get a dev to actually respond to you, the chances of you getting that job is 40%. the chances of you getting that job is 40 to 50%. That is just it. So where we all get it wrong, I see most people saying, oh, they chat up a dev or chat up a project and they did not respond to them. That's because you are using a cold DM method. That's why I do not pitch on X. I do not send messages on X because it is a cold DM. It's likely, or it's either my message go into spam or they do not even respond at all. You understand that? So go to their community. Make sure you are maybe in a conversation that, okay, yes, you are also active. Do you understand? I'm not saying be on the group 24 hours. No, it could be maybe for just 10 to 15 minutes and you are off. It may be just for 10 to 15 minutes and you are off, but that 10 to 15 minutes has actually turned you from a cold audience, or from let me just put it that way, anything you want to do, from cold to warm. Do you understand that? Now the fourth day, I want you to come back asking another question. Then, or you can ask one question in the DM. Is in two ways now. You can ask one question in or on the group chat. Then you can now say something like, okay, how about I chat you up to ask you some questions? You can ask one question, or you do not even ask any question, and you can be like, okay, if I want to, like, I have some questions I would love to ask, who do I reach out to? Ask on the group chat. Somebody will actually respond to you. Okay, message this person. Okay, message the founder. Or you tag the founder and say, maybe the founder is Web3 Princess. As Web3 Princess, I would love to ask you some questions. Would it be good if I chat you up? Of course, this is not your first time coming to the group chat. This is not your first time that I am seeing you on the group chat. I would say yes, feel free, and you have 90% chance of getting a response from that person. If the person say, make sure the person say yes before you go to the person's DM. Do you understand? You have a 90% chance of getting a response from that person immediately. So ask on the group chat. You can tag the person, or if you do not know who you can like reach out to or meet up with, ask on the group chat. Okay, I would love to ask some questions. Who can I reach out to, or who is the best person I can reach out to? Do you understand? Now, when you've done that, we have gotten to the D, which is dedicate. Now, see you in my next video where I talk about dedicate and how to dedicate to the project and bag a job.